So, Kotzi, thanks for joining us here today on on this Tuesday morning. We're having a bit of a chat regarding the season so far. Firstly, let's get straight off the back of it. Disappointing to lose our captain, Matty Panos, for the next 12 months with an ACL injury. Did you inform the group last night, and what was their response to this setback for our captain?
Yeah, obviously it's devastating news. Firstly for Matty and his family. Obviously, you don't want to see anyone get injured, but when it's an injury like an ACL, which takes you out for a fair period of time, yeah, it's really shattering for him. And I caught up with him yesterday. He came to the club, and yeah, he was pretty upset as you would expect. And yeah, I let all the boys know before we started training, and just let them know that obviously we need to support him and get around him. But it's also a good example of football can be pretty brutal and can get taken away from you at any stage. So as a playing group, we need to make the most of our opportunities that are in front of us, because you don't get to play the game forever, and you don't know when it can get taken away from you. Obviously, we'll get behind Matty, and we'll expect him to get back as soon as we can and get him back in the Norwood Guernsey again. But yeah, it was just a really sad moment for him, and obviously for the footy club. But we'll get behind him, and I know the supporters will. I know they love him. He's a fantastic player, but more importantly, he's a fantastic person. So we'll support him and try and get him back into the group as soon as we can.
Yeah, and I agree everything with what you just said. Does it give it a chance now for, obviously we lose our captain, but now, gives Sam Balderstone, Richard Douglas, those guys that, are vice captains, and then you've got, your other leaders around the group. It gives them a chance now to really step up and own these last few games, stepping into the role that Matty won't be there.
Yeah, without doubt, it gives someone else an opportunity to play, but also gives, those vice captains, as you mentioned, but also the whole playing group to step up and lead. Obviously on the weekend, we didn't do what we needed to do in regards to getting the result we wanted. But, the door's still ajar, the season's still alive. So now we've got 3 games that we need to focus on to be really positive about. And and those leaders are really important to drive the standards, as we spoke about last night in regards to our training, and then obviously flow into Friday night. And all we can focus on now is Friday night's game against Sturton, making sure we play the best brand of footy we can to get the job done.
Yeah. So Cots, really, what went wrong on Saturday? We seemed, in control, with a couple of goals up at one stage, and then all of a sudden in the last quarter we just get overrun. What did you put it down to in the end?
Look, I think if you go back to the Eagles game, the reason we won that game, our pressure acts were through the roof. So the highest that we've had for the year. So that's just putting pressure on the opposition to cause turnover or make it really hard for them to move the ball. And on the weekend, we just didn't do that. So we made it very easy for for Centrals to score. Some of our offense stuff was quite good. We were able to hit the scoreboard, and obviously when you kick 13 goals, your offense stuff was fine. But our issue on the weekend was we didn't want to work hard enough with our defensive pressure and our pressure acts to make it hard for Centrals to move the ball, try and slow them down. And they had 35 inside 50s and scored at 66% of the time they went inside. So the pressure on the ball carrier wasn't up to standard that it was the week before. So you see when we bring the pressure acts against a quality team like the Eagles, they couldn't handle it, and we played some really aggressive football. But all your offense stuff is taken care of if you bring your defensive pressure. And unfortunately on the weekend, we just let Centrals move the ball too easily. But to their credit, they played some good footy as well. But we didn't make it hard for them at all. We weren't hard to play against on the weekend, and we spoke about that last night. And we need to come back against Sturt, obviously, and get those pressure acts back up to where they need to be to make it hard for the opposition to score.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, it's been a bit of a roller coaster a couple of weeks for us. I mean, we have a really good win against South Adelaide at home, who are a very good team. They played really well, and we managed to beat them and get over the line. Then we have a couple of tough losses in a row against Glenelg North, and then we have a bumper win on Friday night footy against the Eagles, and we win by 40 points, and then we lose to Centrals. I mean, what do you put it down to, Cots? Is it their mindset heading into the game, or is it just their hunt and willingness to win the contest when the game starts?
Yeah, I think you touched on it then. It really comes back to preparing yourself to play at that level week in and week out. And for whatever reason, it's been inconsistent this year. We're trying to work on that and to make sure that we come with that attitude of really hunting the opposition and putting them under extreme pressure. Like I said before, if you do that, it puts you in the game, and that's when we play our best footy, because offensively we'll be fine when we do that. It's just a matter of making sure we come with the right intent to put pressure on the opposition. Against North Adelaide, we didn't do it, and we saw what happened in that game. But the games that we have this year, we played some really good footy. So even the first two games that we lost by 3 points and 2 points, our intent and pressure was excellent. And that's why you're in the game of footy. And you can cop that a little bit when your pressure's excellent and you still don't get the result you want. But when you don't bring that intent and willingness to work really hard defensively, and that's when it gives the opposition an opportunity to play some really good footy against you. And that's what we need to get better at, and bring that consistently to our performance. And when we do that, we're always in the game.
Yeah. And in your opinion, Cots, what's been most disappointing as coach? Is it because the game plan, we've set out is there, but then is it the way that it's been executed, or is it just come down to simply effort and wanting to win the footy and care, like you say, for the boys around us and making sure that we just get it done and the mids get it done and everyone gets it done?
Yeah, no, I think you touched on it, and I've already sort of spoken about it. We showed the two variations last night in regards to the Eagles game, and then obviously on the weekend against Central. So the pressure acts were basically like 100 less on the weekend compared to what it was against the Eagles, which is a huge amount. So for me personally, when we play the way we want to with our pressure, you can see that the method is fine. We played the Eagles, played some really good footy. Method, we scored well, put them under pressure, played some really good football. So the method and the way we're trying to play, when we execute it, it works really well. But it's all off the back of how hard you want to work defensively and how much you want to put the opposition under pressure. I saw something last night on Fox Footy with Geelong. They're the number one team with Port Adelaide in the AFL, but no one really recognises them for their pressure. But they're the number one pressure team in the competition. So, for us, it's a standard. If we bring that, then we compete with anyone. Our ball movement's fine. We execute well. We score well when our pressure's up and working really hard defensively. So for us, it's a challenge for us this week to bring that back and make sure we do that the level that it warrants playing SANFL football. So if we do that, then we'll put ourselves in a good position on Friday night. And that's all we want to focus on. We're just focusing on Friday night against Sturt. And then, we take it week by week after that.
Yeah. In saying that, our chances are still alive to play finals. We've got a big 3 weeks ahead of us. Heading into Friday night, what are you expecting from the boys? We always love playing in front of our fans on Friday night. It's no bigger occasion than taking on Sturt, who have just come off a really good win against South. The occasion's going to be big. We're not going to have our captain. So a little bit of emotion heading into this game. What are you expecting from your boys heading into this week?
The way we trained last night was excellent. So our intensity was great. And like I said, it starts at training. So we focused on that last night. They trained really well. Again, it'll start Wednesday. We'll have a really solid hit out with our competitive work on game style stuff on Wednesday night. And if we train well there, bring the intensity, then I'm expecting that to flow into the game on Friday night as it did against the Eagles when we played on the Friday night game as well. So I'm really excited about the opportunity. The boys are excited about it. We let ourselves down on the weekend. We let our fans down on the weekend. And we let the football club down on the weekend. So we need to respond to that. Like you said, the season's still alive. We want to make sure we give our fans and our sponsors and our members an opportunity to watch finals footy again, because that's what the players are here to do as well. And we're all here to play finals footy. So, we still have the opportunity to do it, but it's up to us, and we control our destiny to a certain extent at the minute. So while that's still the case, we need to make sure that we execute and bring the right amount of effort and intent to the game on Friday night, because we see when we can do that, we're a very good team.
And just lastly, Cots, obviously after the loss on the weekend, you won't say much early, but could you foresee a couple of changes at selection this week and something that you might look at heading into Sturt on Friday night?
Oh no, we'll definitely look at things. Obviously, when you play that way as we did on Saturday, there'll be some changes. We'll have two forced changes, obviously with Matty and Jacob Collins did his hamstring as well. So there'll be two changes to the team regardless, and then we'll look at the best matchups from there. Obviously, Luke Sermon's been in pretty good form in the reserves, so he'll be someone we need to look at. We need to bring a defender in, so Brody Carroll and Jack Hurd and Tyler Martin have all been pretty good in the last couple of weeks in the reserves as well. So there's options there to come in, and Jed Spence and Cody Zust have been playing some reasonable footy in the reserves as well. So there's definitely people to look at, and we'll go through that after we finish training on Wednesday night and see who's available and who's not, and then make some decisions from there on what we think the best mix is to take Sturt on.
Beautiful, Cots. Really appreciate your time on Tuesday morning, and we wish you and the boys all the best heading into Friday night's game against the Double Blues.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Cotsy.